Monster Hunter World for the PlayStation 4 marks the first time in this 14-year-old series that a game gets a worldwide release. All this time, the series first launched in Japan and was later brought to the United States and Europe. There's a lot of hype surrounding Monster Hunter World, and this surely is justified, because Monster Hunter is a serious beast of a video game. In the next 10 minutes, we will explain to you why this series is worth your hard-earned cash. Here are 10 things that will make you love the Monster Hunter series.
Don't forget, you can guard too. The scout flies will hide once the fight breaks out. Don't forget that.
One thing you will often hear from gamers is that Japanese RPGs are not their thing. But Monster Hunter is not your regular RPG. Sure, it generally embraces the traditional quest model where you pick up quests, do them, and return to the quest giver. But above everything, Monster Hunter is far more action-based.
Hey, the monster's trapped in the vines. Now hit it with all you've got.
You get a semi-realistic world without crazy magic, and it's filled with monsters. All attacks are physical, which makes the game quite easy to understand. The controls? That's a different story, and those surely require some getting used to. Monster Hunter gives you a lot of freedom, which is great. You have a character with base stats, and that's it. During your adventures, you will not level up. Instead, you will earn new materials to craft or buy better weapons and gear. On top of that, you do not pick a class. You are simply a Monster Hunter. The role you take and tactics you use depend on the gear you're wearing. That makes the games fully customizable, and depending on the monster you want to catch, you can easily change your cactus by switching gear.
Greetings and welcome to the world of Monster Hunter. Are you prepared for what awaits you?
Even though Capcom never truly marketed Monster Hunter as a multiplayer series, this is where most fun is to be had. These games are all about working together as a team. That's also one of the reasons why the series has been most popular on the PSP and 3DS so far, because these devices do not require a paid subscription to play online. Local multiplayer on those systems even brought entire communities together. On Xbox One, PS4, and PC, online gaming is very much embedded into the gaming community. This will benefit Monster Hunter World, which now uses a drop-in system. You can shoot an SOS flare into the sky, and then other gamers can decide to help you. A cool feature we surely are hyped about.
Try heading over to this area here and search for any clues it may have left behind.
The Monster Hunter series has always been about a big world filled with adventure and dangers. Up until now, it has always had quest hubs and used loading screens between areas. The world in each of the Monster Hunter games is a big one, filled with locations to discover and things to do. With Monster Hunter World, the series will deliver a seamless world for the first time. As always, monsters can move around freely in the world, just like you, but some of them will stay in their natural habitat instead. Monster Hunter has a very simple premise. You need to protect a village against monsters. These monsters come in many shapes and sizes. They are inspired by dinosaurs mixed with mythological monsters and dragons. Some of them are bird-like creatures, while others look more like an insect or a scorpion. They bring a variety of attacks to the battle, which makes the fights awesome. Seriously, it's great to battle these dinosaurs, dragons, and monsters. The variety is enormous. Every game gets a few monsters from the older games and adds a collection of new ones as well. Monster Hunter World adds another 22 new monsters to the mix.
Okay, you know what you have to do. Get in there and do your stuff.
Monster Hunter is all about hunting monsters, collecting materials, crafting weapons, and then taking on bigger monsters. These bigger monsters can be a different monster from your previous fight, but they can also be a higher rank of the same type of monster. A low rank monster is absolutely child's play compared with a G rank version of the same monster. There's a whole lot of satisfaction to be gained from taking down G-rank behemoths. It will surely take a while before you reach that point, but it's a moment you will not easily forget.
Alright, you completed the quest!
We already talked about the variety of the monsters and the way you upgrade your character. But we'd also like to address the epicness of all this. Because your character doesn't level up, there's skill involved in beating bigger monsters. You can only get certain ingredients for crafting by beating that monster. This means you don't really grind in the classical sense. Fights are a lot more skill-based, like the third-person action games in the vein of Devil May Cry. Sure, your gear will help you a bit, but there's no cheap way to gain a major advantage over a monster. Fights can be challenging, and you'd better come prepared with the right equipment, weapons, and traps to take down that monster. It's funny that we've been talking about combat and monsters so much, we almost forgot about that other word in the title. Hunting is an essential part of Monster Hunter. You need to find a certain monster and take it down. You can find all sorts of information about your target, and the more you find, the easier it will become to track it down. Monsters don't always stay in the fighting arena, they can also run away. You have tools to track a monster, and you can set traps as well. In Monster Hunter World, you can even pit monsters against each other if you play your cards right. It brings a whole new layer of tactics to the hunting grounds.
Monster's tired. Now's your chance to deal some serious damage.
If you're already a big fan of the Monster Hunter series, you should know by now that Monster Hunter World will be a lot different from the main games. With Monster Hunter on the 3DS and PSP, the series became famous for its fun in local multiplayer. This has been removed from Monster Hunter World. The world is bigger, open, seamless, and the game requires less time to get into. This focus on online gameplay will hopefully attract a new audience to the franchise. Some of you will hate the move away from local co-op, while others will finally have a chance to show their friends what makes Monster Hunter so much fun. If you're a video game collector, you'll have a blast trying to complete a Monster Hunter set. The Monster Hunter series has been around since 2004. The first game was released in March 2004 in Japan, followed by an American release 6 months later. The series appeared on the PlayStation 2, PSP, iOS, Wii, Nintendo 3DS, and the Wii U. In the West, there have been 9 releases, including the upcoming Monster Hunter World. Japan got a total of 14 games. Then, there are also dozens of spin-offs, like the Monster Hunter Frontier series on PC, the Diary series on several mobile devices, and of course the most recent Monster Hunter Stories for the Nintendo 3DS. What was your first Monster Hunter game? Why do you think it never really caught on in the West? And what are your thoughts about Monster Hunter World? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.